Everybody sign up that's gonna speak. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Had a great weekend and all above. Bring this meeting to opening. Ask that Mr. Chambers. Mr. Chambers, could you lead us in prayer, please, sir?
We are too. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this opportunity, God, to assemble ourselves, God, concerning the issues and concerns we have for this great city of Wadesboro, God. We pray for these that are on this board, oh God, those that are in leadership, God. We pray that you will pour out your wisdom upon them on this day, God, that decisions that are made, or decisions that will meet your expectations. We give you glory, we give you praise and honor, Father, and you are welcome in this place, God.
Yes.
And we thank you for the things that you've given us, the responsibility that we have to make Wadesboro a better place for the youth that are coming up behind us, oh God.
Yes.
And we just give you praise for it, and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Need approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Need approval of the consent agendas, item approval of the minutes from April the 7th.
So
Approval of street closure for Bearcat Pride Walk and approval of response for the fiscal 23-24. Been moved and second. All in favor? Recognition of presentations. First is up. It's Mr. Charlie Henry.
He's not here.
He's not here. Mr. Henry had 22 years of faithful and dedicated service to the street department for the town of Wadesboro. Mr. Henry, we do appreciate your service for that long.
And may I add, he's also retiring at the end of this month.
God bless you.
Mr. James. Mr. James, presented to you, James.
Oh, he needs to get up.
In appreciation for, Mr. James. 27 years of hard work, dedication, faithful, dedicated service as public work director for the town of Wadesboro, May the 29th, 2025. Understanding you, are retired.
Yes, sir.
You should.
Yes, sir.
Present to Mr. James for his all hard work. Thank you. Service work. That's about serving the community. That's what that's about. When he started, he probably was maybe 365 cents an hour, wasn't it? Thank you for your service, Mr. James. Thank you. Next, Madam Clerk.
All right, first up, we have Gloria Stewart.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just complaining about the property on Bill 6 Liberty Street. That's next to Bill 5 Liberty Street, which is my property. And, I went to the tax papers and I asked them about the Bill, 6 Liberty Street. And they said they don't have nobody for it. It's private property. It's next to my property on Bill 5. And it done grew up. And I went to the town of Wadesboro, the water department, and they said they were gonna send somebody out to look at it. So when he went out and looked at it, he said that they had stopped them from cutting the grass there. So it's real private property, so I'm not able to, to cut it, because really it's not my property.
Is that Liberty or Lincoln?
Liberty.
So,
It's on Liberty Street.
let's send them a letter, the property owner, have we done it? Let's send the property owner a letter stating that if we cut it, we'll be a bill. Yes, sir.
close to, trees growing across that stream. I think what you're concerned about, against her house.
Yeah.
I think the tree lives really on her property. But I will send the property on the level. I will.
Property owner Jesse clean up his
He'll
yard.
clean up his part. I don't think he owns the other stream bed.
Okay.
It would be on her. But I will check into it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Second.
All right, next we have Mr. Bobby Ursher.
Mayor Davis, Town Council, I appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak tonight. I saw that the proposed budget was posted on your website today, and I noticed that there was a 3% property tax increase. We do not know what the economy is going to be. Some experts are calling for a recession. Some say that it's going to skyrocket. It's going to be money flowing everywhere. I seem to have my doubts about that, but anyway, I look at a tax increase. Your responsibility is to provide a better life for the citizens of Wadesboro. And I just don't know if that's my opinion, if that's being done in the last months or so. When I think of a tax increase, I look at some individuals in this room, the town manager, finance officer, and the chief of police. None of them live in the county. The manager that hired me and appointed me the chief of police, he had served his tenure in the city limits, and he was wanting to move outside the city limits to his home place. It wasn't like 3 or 4 miles outside of Wadesboro. So the agreement was that he would pay city taxes on the value of his property, just what the county had valued it at. So to be fair, my recommendation before you would consider a property tax increase on the citizens to pay taxes, you have 1 of 3 options. It's just my recommendation. I'm not sitting in your seat. For one, you could put a tax on the property that these 3 individuals live in now. 2, you could require them to move in the city limits. Or 3, you could ask for their resignation or termination. Mr. Davis, you know as well as I do, when we were on the board, every manager and every police chief lived in the town. While I was on there, I think that changed afterwards. But I think it's only fair if you're gonna consider a tax increase. Mr. Parsons, you have a business here. I wouldn't think that you would want to hire a tax on your business. That's none of my business. None of my business, but it's labeled.
Time's up, sir.
Would anybody be willing to give me their 3 minutes?
I'll yield my time, because I like to hear what he's got to say.
I just think that the playing field should be fair, that if we're going to be required to pay our taxes, everyone should pay their fair share. And if you look at the tax records from earlier today, you even have a board member that's 3 years behind in their taxes. I think if it's only fair that if we're going to be imposed a tax increase, that everyone should be paying their fair share. I know you have a hard job to do, but like I say, we don't know what the future holds, and I would hope that you would strongly consider no tax increase. Next year's reevaluation time, if you make it through this year and you don't become revenue neutral, you can leave the tax rate what it is, and you'll have your tax increase from that. I appreciate the opportunity, and good luck this coming year.
Thank you.
All right, next we have a Stephen Simpson.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Stephen Simpkins, and I represent several companies. We're about to finish up signing a contract to purchase some land out on Pleasant Hill Church Road, set up an organic farm. And I'm here this evening to discuss with the property that's actually north of us, about us and Kenyon cost to procure that property. So it's an organic farm, so one of the things we have to do is make sure we keep the property around there, above to keep anything from going on it. Since the city owns that property, I'd just like to have a conversation with you guys. If sometime wants to acquire that property. We are creating jobs, we're doing training on that particular property. It's gonna be a veterans village out there. It's actually gonna be the faith-based ministries come out and show, they actually feed people every day. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you. Have a rate card, if you need my contact information, he can get that, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear what I have to say.
That's okay, your cards. I'd like your contact information.
Yes, sir.
And it's gonna, you said it's gonna be, better as a complex item?
Yes, sir. So it's the property that, we already signed the contract, and so we're just making sure we put the last things in place. I saw Mr. Parson today. So we have it on the contract, we'll be finalized, supposed to finalize it on Friday coming. We want to make sure we have a conversation about that property so as we begin to move forward, because the topography of the property, the city's property is higher than ours. And what we have to either do is put a berm at the plan and that in the budget, but we don't need any water runoff, we're gonna have fresh water, they'll put a well there. So we wanna have a conversation either about purchasing that property or making it part of what we're doing, because, what we're gonna do, because it's a federal facility, this is what we have to do by mandate. We're federal under what they call FSMA, Food Safety and Modernization Act. So we're doing organic farm, we're doing it locally, we distribute it locally. So we don't distribute anything outside the US, it's 400 square miles. Anybody have any questions? I'm just part of my contact information, I'll be more happy to answer any questions.
Couple of questions, sir. How many jobs would you guys be bringing to Mayfair?
Minimum 150. Yeah, because we're actually gonna grow them, we're practicing the farm to table model, so they'll be growing it there. On an organic farm, you can't be mired, you have to be trained to do that. So when it comes to organic, everybody, they'll be trained. It'll actually be a training facility. It'll be people coming in from all over the world. We're licensed in 32 countries, which include all the European Union, United States, Canada, and Japan. We've been in business 14 years, so this is nothing new now. I grew up in Charlotte, and I relocated to Alabama, but I'm back in the Carolinas, and so I'm looking forward to growing here locally in the commercial.
If you can give me your card.
We'll give it
Pass
to
my
you.
phone around right now.
Right.
I'll pass the phone around to you.
Right, we'll be more than happy to share the information you need, anytime, but we appreciate your time.
Steve, what part of Charlotte?
West side, 2 blocks from John C. Smith.
I can do that.
Okay,
Yeah, West State Street.
okay, I need to, right on Washington, we're at the top, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, next we have Ms. Betsy Sturtevant.
If I pass out something, that's part of my 3 minutes.
You get two.
How he get 3 and I get 2?
You didn't get two. No, that's all.
Okay, hi guys.
Good evening.
To our county manager, our mayor, to the town council. I stand before you just to say a thank you. Sometimes we hear all the bad stuff and never hear the good. Who was that? I like that. Yes. Let me tell you what, everyone in here that knows me know that my husband and I started a nonprofit, faith-based center program, but in the 1900s, 1999. But anyway, we have fed the homeless, the less fortunate. On Sunday, we had our feed in Richmond County, because we don't just do it in Hampton County. I wanted to come before you to thank our town manager, Mr. Ross, Garrett Snuggs, Joanne Bennett, Ida Casey, thank you so much, Lawrence Parson. They donated to me, and ever since Mr. Wiley's been here, he's donated and came and helped when we up down the street. And my son, I call Garrett mine. Oh yeah, he belonged to me, for real. And I want to thank you. We were able to support over 150 families in Richmond County yesterday. Even with the rain and everything. I met that gentleman that just got up here.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
came, yeah. And
I'm here to serve you now, whatever you need to do.
we on a partnership together. I met him and I got his information. I checked him out too. And he's real. And I checked him out. He's real. His program every day is real. But we need to learn how to love each other. We need to learn how to come together. We got too many homeless in Hampton County, too many less fortunate. We got too many kids. I think you can go with me to that program. I don't hear that beep. Oh, I guess I do. I'm gonna respect it. If you ring that thing on me, boo, I sure enough clean your head. And he knows it too. Look at that. He knows the deal. But I just want to thank you. And we will be at Ebenezer. The third, we do it every third Thursday. Anyone wanna come up there, just tell people you love them. I don't care how they smell, how they look, or whatever. We love all of them. Cause that's what it's about. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Jarrell Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
K-9 Officer Blitz just didn't die, he was murdered, and the truth was buried by the town manager, who decided the public wasn't worthy of knowing what really happened. He took a full detailed police report and shredded it into one pathetic paragraph of garbage. Then he strong-armed the interim police chief into signing it and threatened him with his job. And the so-called interim chief signed it like a good little lapdog. The chief claims he wanted to build trust and humanize the badge, but he's too busy licking the boots of a corrupt town manager to stand up for the truth. The town manager stripped him of his badge, his spine, his dignity, and whatever credibility he had left. This is exactly why former Chief Brandon Jr. had to go, because he didn't play puppet. He stood for transparency, he stood for what was right, and that made him a threat to the town manager's kingdom and backdoor agendas. But this interim chief is a yes man, a pawn. He's not running a department. He is following orders like a scared mutt. The people of Wadesboro deserve the truth, not PR stunts, not cowards in uniforms, and definitely not a chief more loyal to his paycheck than his oath. The truth is, the current interim chief is the town manager's obedient lapdog and puppet. He will not speak up, he will not tell the truth. Sit and follow orders until one day he's asked to know, but then the damage is already done.
Get him out.
Y'all need to shut them down.
Went all the way up.
Oh, he's fine right there. He's fine right there. He's fine right there. Next,
Next we have, Joanne Taylor.
Yeah, pull that out.
I mean,
Awesome right there.
I love you too. I got it.
Hey, Ms. Taylor.
Good to see you tonight. I have a couple of quick questions I would like to pose to the city manager and the city attorney. Months and months ago, I delivered personally and by email copies of ordinances to the city attorney, and I would like to know the status of that, please.
We're kind of still in the process of hopefully redoing a lot of our ordinances, Joanne. We've made some recommendations that we need to, I said Joanne, I'm sorry, John. Go back and, to go back and look at redoing a lot of our ordinances because they're out of date, okay? And I know that you've expressed some interest in the nuisance ordinances. We have discussed that, but we're trying to do it all at one time to hopefully make it more financially beneficial.
Time is of the essence. We have a new code enforcement officer coming in, and what is he gonna enforce? Help me out here, guys, come on, what's the answer?
Well, ma'am, the lawyer just responded to it. And the orders have been put in, well, they're looking into it. We can't do anything until they bring the orders back to us.
You can't do what, sir?
We can't do anything until we find out what the orders are.
Yeah, but we've got a new code enforcement officer coming in July 1st. So what's he gonna do?
I hope he'll help us figure that out.
Sir?
I hope he'll help us figure, they'll help us figure out what ordinances need to be updated. There's a bunch of them.
Why do we have the city manager then?
Ma'am, all the ordinances are about 20 years old, right? And we are in the process of redoing them. This issue with the ordinance has just not started 11 months ago. It started like 15, 20 years ago. So we're in the process of trying to fix all this, right? It's not gonna happen overnight, right?
Well, sweetheart, excuse me, I didn't mean to call you
You're
sweetheart.
fine.
Please forgive me, I'm sorry.
Everybody.
Mr. Manager, this has been going for months and months and months and months. That lady standing right over there, that police officer, I dug a bullet out of my house and gave her the bullet.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Chief,
This government needs to be overthrown.
Etcher, where is he?
Thank you, ma'am.
Where is he tonight?
Thank you.
I don't know where he is.
So I haven't gotten any answers to my questions.
Thank you.
So I don't get answers?
Thank you.
Ms. Taylor, me and you have spoken at length,
Yes, sir.
and we are definitely still working on trying to resolve all these issues Again, it takes a long time to do this.
It's not a priority.
Well, it is definitely a priority, ma'am, but it's law that we have to consult with our attorney, and we're in the process of doing that. So all this has to be vetted through our legal department. We just can't make a law, make an ordinance, right? So that's what we're doing.
Ms. Taylor, Ms. Taylor.
It doesn't correlate, sorry.
Ms.
Sorry,
Taylor?
it doesn't
That's
correlate.
Okay, thank you. Next.
You did good. You did good as always.
This time, number 7, the presentation from Pastor Michael Chambers, recreational facility proposal.
Well, good evening once again, and, yes. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come and make this presentation. As you know, we have the Old Basic School facility, and, there is a gymnasium that was there about a year ago. There was a meeting here last year, I believe, and, I had the pleasure of being there with Mr. Snuggs, and, we were talking about bringing the YMCA here, and we talked a little bit, and I didn't throw your suggestion to the curb. You know, I met Mr. Wiley, and, but anyway, we wanted to come and share with the town. We're looking for partnership, you know, someone that will partner with us. I believe that our organization is doing our very best right now to make a difference in this community. And this community is priority for us. As you know, we do own and operate Samaritan Inn, and we have the drug treatment program there, bringing people through. So we just worked a couple businesses, a restaurant, a daycare, and has created some jobs in the community. So right now, our focus is this community center. So at this time, I have a few of my colleagues with me, and I'm going to let Ellis Shakira Bennett start, and then my daughter Twinkles will come and finish up the presentation.
It's gonna be up here, yeah.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. So we want to share with you guys the vision, the intent, and what we will achieve through the community center. So the Oasis Community Center, the name Oasis is symbolic. It stands for overcoming all situations in society. And we stand on hope, giving, and community. Our mission is straightforward. At Oasis Community Center, our mission is to empower, uplift, and transform the youth of our community by providing a safe haven where they can grow, learn, and thrive. In a community faced with violence and limited opportunities, we are committed to breaking cycles and building futures through sports, counseling, and extracurricular activities that foster unity, leadership, and productivity. By equipping young people with tools, mentorship, and support they need, we aim to instill confidence, develop responsibility, and cultivate effectual citizens that will positively impact our community. So through structured programs and meaningful engagement, we strive to create a generation of leaders who choose purpose over violence, success over struggle, and community over conflict. At Oasis Community Center, we believe every young person deserves a place to belong, a chance to succeed, and a future filled with promise. Together, we are shaping a brighter, safer, and more prosperous tomorrow.
Okay, you guys, this school was originally founded in Deep Creek. It was called Zion Academy in 1920. The name Zion Academy, it was inspired by the A.M. Zion Church. It was established by Miss Dora Settle and her husband, Reverend Josiah Settle, in a one-room building. The building would later be replaced by Hammer's Luncheon. The Settles were from Rutherford, North Carolina, and purchased 4 acres of land on Southbury Street in 1893.
Hills opened her home to students from across the county. And students literally arrived at her home Sunday after church, and they stayed until Saturday morning. And that was due to transportation challenges in that time, where there were only wagons and carriages. But that's the extent that she went to provide for the community.
If we pay attention going up and down Salisbury Street, you'll find a street called Dora Street. That street was named after Miss Dora Settle. The next street is called Settle Street. That street was also named after the Settles. The house in which they had on Salisbury Street, it still stands in between Dora Street, on Settle Street, and where the Gerald Pacer building is today. Professor Luther Phillips from Deep Creek, he served as a teacher and an assistant principal at the Design Academy. They needed a full-time principal. So what they done was they reached out and he was friends with Reverend Gerald Pacer, who moved to Waysboro in 1909. Now the numbers may sound a little off, but they're not. Because in actuality, the school in Deep Creek was not a part of the Anson County school system. If that makes sense to you. So the school ran in 1909 without being associated with the Anson County school system. Then in 1920 is when they became associated with the Anson County school system with the help of Mr. Gerald Pacer and Mr. Henry W. Little, the owner of Little's Cotton Mill, and together they collected money to fund the Anson County Training School in 1920 to 1960. That money was utilized to build the actual Gerald Pacer building that you see today. The names were controversial. Acts served the need. It needed a larger facility, so that's why they had to move from the Deep Creek facility. It grew. It really grew. The school initially provided cooking, cleaning skills, agricultural skills, farming, trade skills, carpentry, mechanics, plumbing, core academics, reading, writing, arithmetic, industrial specific skills like for textile manufacturing and other industrial skills in the area. So basically, this facility not only educated our youth, it also prepared them to be entrepreneurs.
So now that you guys have heard the history of the J.R. Pacer, which is where the Oasis Community Center will be at, and where the work that was done in the early 1900s will be continued, we just want to share a little bit more about what we will do and how we will continue that work at Oasis Community Center. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll provide recreational activities, and they do much more than entertaining. Recreational activities build character, confidence, and leadership skills. So through sports and structured programs, the youth learn teamwork, discipline, perseverance, and preparing them for life challenges. In communities with limited opportunities, these activities serve as positive outlets that steer young people away from violence and risky behaviors. And I think that we all can agree here that that has riddled this community. They foster social connections, encourage responsibility, and instill resilience, shaping confident leaders who thrive not just in school, but in work and in life. And recreational activities will also serve as providing a safe, engaging space for recreation. We are empowering the next generation to lead with strength, purpose, and integrity. In addition to recreational activities, we'll also provide a place for counseling. It's a safe place for growth and healing. And counseling provides a safe, supportive space for youth to express themselves, to process their emotions, and to navigate challenges. By getting to the root of problems, it helps prevent negative behaviors, and it equips young people with coping skills emotional resilience, and conflict resolution strategies. So opposed to picking up a weapon or opposed to using the fist, we want to equip them with ways to be able to express themselves in a nonviolent manner. Beyond individual healing, counseling plays a key role in violence prevention, offering guidance, empathy, and mentorship to replace anger with communication and fear with confidence. So by investing in mental and emotional well-being, we are empowering you to help to make healthier choices and to build a brighter future. Literally, we're gonna be loaded, you guys. We're gonna be packed with everything that our youth need to succeed. So we'll offer after-school programs, and after-school programs and tutoring serve as a bridge between the classroom and the home. It provides students with the academic support and structure they need to succeed. These programs will help reinforce learning, it will improve literacy, and encourage independence, ensuring that students stay encouraged and motivated beyond school hours. Stronger academics are directly linked to better behavior. When students feel confident in their learning, they are less likely to act out, to disengage, or to seek negative outlets. By providing a structured, supportive environment, after-school programs will reduce dropout rates, it will improve school performance, and even contribute to higher overall school ratings. And not only will it help the people of this community, but it will also make Anson County more attractive to people that want to move here. By investing in after-school education, we are not just improving grades, we are instilling discipline, fostering confidence, and setting youth on a path to success. We'll also equip our youth and the people that come through the Oasis Community Center with financial literacy, with the knowledge and skills to make smart money decisions and laying the foundation for lifelong success. Teaching concepts like budgeting, saving, credit management, and responsible spending will prepare them for real-world financial responsibilities. Right? These types of tools help break free from generational financial struggles. It reduces economic instability and create pathways to wealth and independence, right? Making the community stronger and more self-sufficient. Life skills, right? We want to equip and empower our youth with life skills and things that they need to succeed in life all around. Tools that will help them navigate challenges and make positive choices and become productive citizens, right? So financial literacy, communication, problem solving, conflict resolution, fostering independent responsibilities and employability. And I think that that's something that everybody can learn from, not just you. All right, so talk about continuing the work. We'll also be an entrepreneurship and business training center, providing training centers dedicated to entrepreneurship and business development, equips individuals with the skills needed to start and sustain successful businesses. These centers will offer hands-on education in business planning, marketing, financial management, and industry-specific skills, helping aspiring entrepreneurs turn their ideas into thriving enterprises. By fostering innovation, economic growth, and self-sufficiency, these programs will create job opportunities, reduce unemployment, and strengthen the local community. Youth will gain confidence and expertise to build businesses that uplift both families and the community. And our ministry is already equipped with general contractors, teachers, guidance counselors. We're already equipped with people who work in the accounting industry, people that have tax preparation businesses. We're equipped with bookkeepers. We're equipped with substance abuse counselors. We already have people who have lawn care businesses. We already have people who have mastered and are teaching these skills to bring to our community center. So, I just wanted to take the time to share with you guys how, and what our work looks like. So, you know, we just stand before you to say that the work that was started in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that work must continue to build a stronger community. So at this time, I'm going to bring it back over to Apostle.
Well, I hope that you guys can get a first-hand look at what's in our heart and soul to do in Anson County, and we're very blessed to have young people that are gifted and talented and educated, certified in these different areas. There's a gentleman that owns a spot of land right back behind the gymnasium now. He actually lives in Union County, and we were talking, because I was asking, did he want to sell that parcel? And he said, no, he wasn't interested in selling it, but he said he's willing to do anything he could to help us out. He said, because if it had not been for the Gerald Fester Community Center, he doesn't know how his life would have turned out. He had somewhere to go, someone to teach him, you know, and show him the better way. And that's all we want to do in Waysboro. So our cry today is for partnership. I've been knowing Councilman Snuggs for a while, been knowing Councilman Parsons. I know Chip Malone. Again, I know this young lady here and Miss Bennett. And of course, I had a chance to meet the town manager when he first got here. And Chief Spencer was on his way out of retirement. So, and of course, I know Miss Debbie, and I know the attorney. You never represented me. But anyway, that's been many years ago. But it's our heart and soul. So we're looking for partnership. So if there's any other questions, any other comments, or maybe you guys would be interested in scheduling another meeting with us and let us know what you decide, and then we can sit down and I can show you financially what we're looking at. We've already, just to end, we already have a couple of grant sources. It would be great for us to show in these grants that we're partnering with the city of Waysboro.
Thank you. Two questions. What would you be looking to receive from the town of Waysboro in regards to this?
Well, partnership on a grant, and also if there's any financial contributions that can come our way to assist us and help us out with this process, we're open for that. You know, right now, my biggest thing is excuse me, I've already had everything declared a safe dwelling by Chief Inspector Keith Gaston. She's already looked at the property, told me I can go ahead and move and do what I need to do. You know, we need to get a roof on it. You know, it's a solid structure. You cannot build that building has solid concrete floors in it. And it will cost, yes, and it has steel beams in the roof. And the wood is bolted, so the wood is unbolted and refastened. You get on the roof, it's as simple, you know, but you couldn't build that building today, I mean, for probably $4 or $5 million. I'm just gonna be honest with you, the cost of material right now, you know, so we haven't had an opportunity. I do have some estimates from some HVAC and some electrical guys that I work with, because I'm a GC myself. And so you know, plumbers and things of that nature. And so I'm interested in sitting with you guys another time if you want to, and we can, you know, we can talk about numbers, but we are open for, right now, just to get the roof and the electrical done on the building, we're talking about $175,000. You know, and that's getting some of the cosmetic stuff done on the inside of the out as well. But there's a lean-to building on the back side of it, beside the gym, and all that has to be replaced. And I have estimates on doing that. I wasn't going to try to do it all myself, so I went and got some other contractors to give me pricing. Because I didn't want to be a conflict of interest. They weren't thinking that I'm trying to, you know, pull money into my business. I'm not trying to do that. Because I've done a lot of things already, on my own. But this is the vision that the Lord has given, so this is what we are.
Excuse me, so the roof is roughly 175 to.
Well, we're talking roof, electrical, and some of the cosmetic stuff. Yeah.
What about the flooring?
Well, the flooring is solid concrete. It's not cracked anywhere. There's one crack in the wall of the block. the block and brick. There's one crack that can be, repaired. Like I said, I had, last year, Keep Gases came out, and I was gonna pull a permit, and at that time, we were in the midst of trying to, that was year before last, and we were trying to divert the restaurant, and then, we wanted to get that off the ground first, and the daycare was next, so we kind of put it on the back burner, but our paperwork is already in order. I mean, I've already been cleared to move.
So I'm just, would you leave concrete floors or would you go?
We're talking about going back with that new rubber coat on top of the floor. That could be put down over the concrete.
I'm familiar with all of this, the rubber shrinks or whatever, and I was thinking that the rubber shrinks and. You know, with old facility, I was thinking more, just can do hard work, just one.
I mean, we're open, I mean, it's options, this is something we consider, now, nothing's final yet, but, cost and, what would be more,
does it have, how old is it?
well, the school was built in 1929. 1920.
So,
I think the gym was built after, they did the school first, and then I don't know the exact date of the gym.
is it feasible for us to walk in there, is it safe for us to walk in there?
Yeah.
We'll just call it just the eyeball. I see the outside.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine, we've been in there, we had a small bobcat in there cleaning stuff out, as people started coming in, we would board up the doors and windows. People come and start dumping stuff, and so I just forget about it. So we just took the time to start cleaning it out, so, but it's a solid structure.
Okay.
Do that belong to the, has it already been purchased from the, school board or?
It doesn't belong to the school. It belongs to us. Yeah, that was a misconception during the county thing, when the school board attorney came over, and they were thinking, and the county attorney also thought that it was still there, but it's not. It's not a part of it. What we were doing with the county was we were trying to get the ball fields. We have the school building, the gym, and some of the land is there. But there's a baseball field and a football field that we want. And that was originally a part of the facility. And it's like I told the commissioners, and we have a meeting coming up with them pretty soon again. We get a chance to do our presentation to them. If I had been with Ms. Clemens and Mr. Walter McDaniel, them back then, I would have asked for all of it, because it was needed, it's needed now,
Perfect world, you're able to secure the finances that you need, Pastor. How long would it take for you to complete this project and get it implemented for our youth?
Are you writing a check today? No, look, I feel like if we had the money, and it's an ongoing process, I believe within, I say, 8-9 months to a year, maybe, totally complete, it's, you got processes that you have to go through, and it's a lot of work, it is, but it's worth it. That's the first thing he told me when he came down there, because I had talked to a gentleman out of South Carolina, and we considered tearing it down. And when Keith came out, he says, man, listen, he says, I know, this is not going to do that. And I got a price on tearing it down. This guy wanted $45,000 just to tear it down. $45,000, I could work on it myself and do it and get a lot done with $45,000, So, we decided not to do that. Then I priced some metal structures, we're gonna put a multi-purpose building out there. It's more valuable like it is, with all that steel and concrete and stuff. And it's just standing there. It's gonna endure Hugo and everybody else, it ain't going nowhere, it's solid there.
Is Miss Molly, what's her name on it? Did you name Molly?
No, ma'am, we took over, I wanna clear something up for the county, for the community. What happened was, Ms. Sally Clemens was the president of the Gerald Faison Community Center. And my pastor, the late pastor, Leslie English, We got that building from them in 1998 with a 5-year lease option to purchase for $50,000. Well, during the process of us, I started working on the building in July 1998. It took 5.5 years to bring it up to code. The entire 22,000 square feet has been totally remodeled upstairs and down and functioning. And so at the end of the 5 years, they found out, them being nonprofit, they could not sell it and spend the money. I was with Miss Sally Clemens 2 weeks before she died. And she was trying to get everybody together. The only 2 living board members was her and Mr. Walter McDaniel. Miss Marlena Richardson was no longer part of the board.
She off what the board?
Ma'am?
She off what?
No, I'm saying at that time, no, ma'am. There was only two living board members. And that was Miss Sally Clemens and Mr. Walter McDaniel. Mr. Bill Mason is the one that did the paperwork for us over here. So what we had to do, we became the new Gerald Faison Community Center. They ran an ad in the paper, I think it was 2 weeks or 30 days or something like that, giving a date and time for the community. If anybody wanted to be a part of the Gerald Faison Community Center board, at 10 o'clock that morning, nobody showed up. 15 minutes after 10, it was Marsha and Miss Angeline Haley, Miss Angeline Haley, and her niece Marsha showed up. And we already signed papers because it was posted in the paper. Everything was done legally. And we became the New Gerald Faison Community Center. So what happened, there was so much rhetoric and confusion going on as to who owned Faison. About 6 months later, I asked Mr. Mason, what could we do to kind of calm things down? He said, you could convey the property to the church anytime you want to. And that's what we did. And we conveyed it to the ownership of Believers Christian Center Church, and I have the book and the stamp right now. You can go on the website and look and see it's still an active entity. The Gerald Faison Community Center is still active. We decided to keep it active because we were going to rename it that. But then a little later on, the Lord gave us Oasis. And so what we were going to do, it'll be Oasis Community Center, but we wanted to put a plaque on the front in memory of Gerald Faison Community Center and Reverend Faison and all those that had something to do with that facility. But no, Miss Marlena is not on that board.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now here to old business, discuss and consider approval of the CDBG compliance plan.
Yeah, Mayor and members of council, this is just a compliance plan for the $1.6 million grant that we're getting to revitalize senior citizens' homes. The plan's inside your packet there, it just needs to do with that whole plan. This is for the grant requirement.
I need a motion to second it. All in favor? Discuss proposed annual operating budget fiscal year for 25-26.
Good evening, everyone. There's a lot to cover with the budget. I will tell you, I've worked on, multi-million-dollar budgets, large budgets and small budgets, and, I gotta tell you, this has been the most difficult budget that I've done. We have limited resources, lots of expenses. So to start off, I'd like to discuss what we did with revenue. So, as per instruction from the council, we're proposing an increase in property taxes of .556 to .616 per $100. That works out to raising for the town approximately $239,000.
That will affect the average taxpayer's house, average of $100,000 home of $60 a year. It will cost the taxpayer $60 a year. We also projected an increase in tax collection. As you know, over the last 9 months, Mr. Ross and I have met with the county numerous times, lighting a fire, to speak, to get them moving on increasing what they collect for us. As you know from the audit that was presented by Ms. Bennett a couple of months ago, our tax collection rate was 87.15%. I budgeted at 92% because we are not allowed to budget more than what we've collected the previous year. As of right now, the county is saying that they have collected 94%, and I concur. So there has been a great improvement. So we are projecting an increase in collection in property taxes. We are also projecting an increase in tax collection revenue. That is due to Mr. Ross soliciting 325 customers that are currently outside the city limits but are receiving water from the town. We were very conservative in our figure at 125 customers accepting to have their trash picked up out of the 350. So there's room for potential improvement there. The letters and the forms are ready to go. They should be out by the next couple of weeks, and we should be getting responses back from them. So our conservative increase in revenue for tax collection is $37,500. I have also looked at the administration budget, and we are allowed to receive an allocation from water sewer for a portion of the services that the administration department does. So I've looked it over, and I anticipate, I forget what the increase is for this year, if it's in the budget amendment, but for next year, I am projecting an increase of $180,888 to be moved for a total of $330,888 to be moved over from the water sewer fund to the general fund for reimbursement of expenses incurred by the administration department for water sewer. So that would be a portion of everyone's salaries. That would be utilities in town hall and other various expenses.
Black pickup blocking me, I can't get out. In the building. Black pickup.
Now, with all this projected increase in revenue, we are still looking to allocate $304,052 of fund balance to balance the budget. And I'm gonna, yes, sir.
How much from fund balance?
$304,052. And that is a decrease of $59,000 from the current budget. And I will go over the breakdown of that $304,000 in a little bit.
304,000?
Yes, sir. And that's with this increase in revenue. As far as expenses go, one of the things that we've been doing and we will continue to do is there are some positions that we have not filled. And we do not plan to fill, we did not budget for. We proposing a 3% COLA across the board for staff that did not receive a raise last year. We are proposing a new grant writer position. And with the presentation that just took place, I think that proves even more how critical a grant writer position is for the town and how much revenue can be drawn from a grant writer's effort. A success rate of a grant writer is influenced by many factors, including their level of experience. And of course, their level of experience is going to draw what salary they demand. The volume of the grant applications submitted and the nature of the organization that they represent. So obviously, in private industry, a grant writer will make a lot more money than they would in the town of Wadesboro. While an entry-level grant writer may achieve a success rate of approximately 75% of the grants that they submit, a more experienced grant writer could gain us even more. Mr. Ross and I's opinion on that is to try to get an experienced grant writer and not someone that's just starting out. So that's gonna draw a bigger salary. So,
on that right there, I think to Shirley calls we talked to the county, we've been down this one before where the county and the city, we had one grant writer that kind of done both. Am I correct, Ms. Joshua? It's,
Me?
yeah.
Me?
Bet.
She could write a book.
Bet.
We got
Mary
one.
Bet.
We got one. And he's scanning his book.
All right, good.
so right now, we are budgeting conservatively and hoping successfully of obtaining a grant writer for anywhere from $80,000 to $84,000 a year. And that's the going rate.
That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad for a trained grant writer that can work on municipal and government technicalities.
Exactly.
They're worth their weight in gold, and that's that hits right in a good, that's attractive. Yeah, that's great.
So, for me, the most exciting thing that happened in cutting expenses for next year is we were able to decrease our health insurance premiums while maintaining the same level of insurance. Actually, I would say it's a little bit better. And the decrease is going to be $2,230 annually per employee.
Excellent. I read that, sorry. I like it.
Yep. So the projected savings for general fund for medical insurance is $136,000. And that also includes 13 retirees who are receiving full insurance from us. Additionally, we have an expense of $65,000 that we expend for retirees that are currently of retirement age and are receiving Medicare, and we are paying for their supplement. Additional changes in expenditures, we were notified, I budgeted for an increase for retirement based on a conference that I went to, but we were just notified the other day of what the actual increase is gonna be, and it's a little bit more. It's not gonna be a big deal. So the next budget for June that we will be discussing, that will be in there as a change. So for general employees, we were paying 13.66% for the state retirement. It's now going to be 14.35%. And the police went from 15.4% to 16.10%. Also discussed at the retreat was the 2 unfilled positions that are currently in the police department for a lieutenant position. and you authorized me to budget for one, so that budget that is before you has that one lieutenant position filled. Also in the budget, which was a huge change, and it has not been settled yet, is the 911 dispatchers. We have budgeted $150,000 for that. Also included in the budget that is different from last year is the youth program through the North Carolina Co-op Extension. And finally, the big expense that won't affect us too much next year, but will have a big impact for the next 9 years after that, is the new fire truck. We will be going, Scott and I will be going out and acquiring quotes from local banks. Scott and I sat down and we estimated a little high, we hope, on the interest rate. We calculated at 6%. We determined that making monthly payments saved a ton of money as opposed to making one annual payment for 10 years. So we are estimating that the payment will be $13,300 per month, principal and interest for the next 10 years. The anticipated first payment will be March of next year. Finally, another increase in our expenses and possibly in our revenue. We received a letter from the county manager about 3 weeks ago stating that he is recommending to the county commissioners to increase the water rates by 12%. So I want you to know that.
This is an additional
Yes, sir.
from the one that
Yes, sir.
implemented last year?
That's correct.
Let's come back. The
I didn't take copies, but I did bring it with me, so that's the letter from the county.
And Councilmember Long, that's a great statement. Will improve the quality of water. Those are questions we can ask the county, but we buy our water from the county. So we are at their disposal, right? We have to, just unfortunately, we have to deal with that. But it's a viable question, you know, what's the quality of the water and all that kind of thing. So we'll be asking those questions, absolutely. We will.
So we're still looking at access from the road to houses, right, of what type of pipe goes from your house, from the town source into the house, from lead or PVC.
Yes, so, yeah.
So we still don't.
So that is an expense that I put in the water sewer. So I will need your guidance, I ask tonight, if possible, because I'm going to need to alter the budget. In the budget that I gave you were proposed, increases in fees that the city, that the town charges. I did not include an increase to the water sewer.
With this budget that you proposed, you didn't
I did not
include this?
No, because at the time of preparing the budget, I didn't have that information. And it was such a large increase.
Yes.
I think we might be able to get by with less of an increase than 12%, but I didn't, not by much.
We'll do what we can.
I left the rest of it.
But real quick, we will do what we can. Obviously, we just raised the water rates for the citizens, reference to wage meal situation, and we have accounted for that. So now we have another issue is with the county. They're gonna raise it by 12, right? So we have to look at all that, but we will definitely try to be as conservative as possible. But we look at this because we know it's a absolute, a hardship on our citizens.
Yeah, I don't think our citizens can handle the increase on our water bill.
We have to cut off and cut back on.
Get a lot of
We need a grant writer to start
Talk
helping
about
with
that.
utilities. I mean, seriously, there are grants out there to help, people who can't afford to pay their bills. We've looked into them many times and gotten them before. But it just goes so quick. It goes so quick.
So earlier, when we were discussing, I mentioned that the allocation for, fund balance was going to be $304,000. So, I know you all know this, but I just feel I need to reiterate it. I went to a conference, a couple of months ago, and I think I went to 3 different sessions where they discussed fund balance and how we absolutely, positively should not use fund balance to balance the budget. So with that said, of that $304,000, $15,000 of it is going to be coming from restricted fund balance for a capital purchase for the police department. $25,000, so, and that's okay. This is my point, is that for one-time purchases or emergencies, fund balance is acceptable. So what I'm reading off is I'm feeling very comfortable with the use of fund balance for these reasons. $15,000 for capital purchase from assets from arrest for the police department, $25,000 for supplies for assets from assets and arrests from the restricted fund balance. $5,000 for the administration department for a one-time purchase to get the grant writer in office.
Right.
So a computer, a desk, chairs, monitors, and some very small modifications to one of the rooms in town hall to give the person a private office. $11,000 administration for the one-time consulting services for the compensation and the policy revisions that we discussed earlier for the ordinances and policies and such as that. So that's a one-time purchase that is a good use of fund balance. $18,000 for the fire department, mandatory RMS software upgrade per federal government guidelines. That is a have-to one-time purchase. $15,000 fire rescue rope and hardware, one-time purchase. And if that does not get funded, we will lose our North Carolina State Heavy Rescue certification. $16,000, you're actually getting ready to approve today, and a budget amendment transferring from the Special Project Parks Fund. So that money is gonna be going into general fund if you all approve it. And so $16,000 of upgrades and beautification that is in this budget will be used from fund balance. That leaves $199,052 that we will be using fund balance for to balance the budget. Does that make sense?
How much is in fund balance right now?
That is, from the last audit that we just had a couple of weeks ago, we have $2.4 million unassigned, restricted, $1.3 million, total fund balance is $4.26 million.
Okay, so what does the, state want us to, how,
The unassigned fund balance is like 36%. The state recommends, sorry, I don't know the figure off the top of my head, but it is considerably less. So we have a pretty good fund balance. Not enough for me, because, you know, the higher the fund balance, the easier it is to make a budget and get comfortable with, you know, emergencies that might pop up. Okay, so does everybody understand how I came up with the 199 to balance the budget? Okay, so, things that can be considered, I don't like any of them, but I wanna share them with you. There could be a savings of $187,000 in the budget before you that would result from discontinuing paying for insurance for all retirees.
Not doing that.
No, I'm putting it out there, just letting you know.
Let's move on.
So, obviously, the con to that would be no motivation for employees to stick around.
Move on, they work 25, 30 years. Move on.
Begin charging retirees for a portion of their insurance. So, just throwing a figure out there, if they were to pay for half of the premium, it would be a savings of $93,500.
Let me stop you right there, please.
Yes, sir.
Interject. This is personal.
Ah.
This is personal. That, me personally, what I'm having to pay for my baby that's critically sick, I might as well file bankruptcy. So those two things, I don't have a vote, but it's not feasible to cut someone's benefits, insurance, and I'm a retiree. Also, states want to cut my benefits, retirees, my daughter dies.
I understand.
I'm just.
I don't like these options, I'm just sharing with you, I feel like.
I have a vote, I concur.
Let's move on.
Yeah, that's how.
Let's move on.
Another opportunity would be to raise $75,000 by charging employees approximately $100 a month for their insurance instead of having it be no cost. Again, the pro to that, the savings, the con, loss of employees and employees' morale. No raise and no grant writer. I think that speaks for itself. That's not an optimal idea. Those are the only options I can find. I beg of you, would you please look over the budget if you can find more reasonable cuts. I was looking for the most savings that would make an impact on that fund balance allocation. And employees and benefits is our biggest expense.
Well, we may have to kick the can down the road and use fund balance to take care of it.
What's the average cost per retiree a month?
Question. Yes, what's the average cost per month?
For insurance, why don't you know, do you remember the new rate? I think it's $733 seems.
Something like that. We're paying.
We were at $928, and I think the new premium is
Like
$733.
So we bring it down.
$969.
And we bring it down to
$700 change.
And the town pays all,
Yes.
Yes.
Supplement's a lot cheaper than what regular retirees insurance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
question,
Yes.
with that, like the town paying all of the insurance, I work for the county, we pay for part of our insurance. So a little bit doesn't none at all.
Let me say this, the employees here are blessed.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are,
that's true.
because county people,
Because, where I come from in the big city, they don't pay it. So we have to, but again, you know, all we're doing is giving you scenarios and different options. Folks, this is the reality. The bottom line, Mr. Usher came through and said, we need to look at salaries and all that, but folks, we bought a $1.2 million fire truck, right? And it's not going away, right? We haven't raised taxes in 25 plus years.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Taxes have not been raised. We do not raise it in the last 25 years.
That's unheard of.
Exactly. So,
And 6 cents as well.
and the fact of the matter is, if we don't make these decisions, this deficit is gonna grow. It's gonna be $1 million. And this little town cannot afford that. We can't. We don't have the resources.
Can I ask a question on the proposed inspection and permit and special permit use? Did we go out and look at surrounding counties and to see, because some of these
Best
just seem,
practices.
like on a third offense for a locked block or unmarked exit, I'd double it from $1,500 to $2,000, that's only $500, but, you know, if they've done it 3 times, I'd slap them on the hand a little harder. I don't know what our area, our comparisons are to other like-sized communities around us.
As far as the regular fees,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
did go out to other municipalities and I looked, and I'll be honest with you, if I found one that was higher, that was the one I picked.
There you go. Okay, I mean, that's
And as far
that's a good
as,
strategy.
and as far as the inspection, Scott can speak to that.
Okay.
So on the inspection side of things, I done the exact same thing. I looked at what was comparable across the state. There are agencies in the state that don't charge anything for inspections.
Right.
There are agencies that charge for inspections, and so that's what I done, when we created that this year.
I'm just looking more at the fines, you know.
Yes, sir. So if you look in there in the fines, there's a little sentence up under that after that third offense, I'm paraphrasing it because I'm not looking directly at it. It doubles the cost of that. So the third offense, what is it, $1,500?
Yes, sir.
If it happens again after that, it doubles that, so that's $3,000.
Okay.
And so it goes up every time like that. That's the one thing we don't want, a fire or anything to happen if people are locked inside. Everybody, some of you are
That's
from
it.
here, you got to handle chicken plant fire.
Yep.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
So on those fees, I don't know if you noticed the ones in red, anything in red was a change.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and then the ones on page 21 that are highlighted in yellow are all new fees that we're trying to establish. On page 21 at the bottom, highlighted in yellow.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we kind of wing that.
Let me ask you, did you,
Since we don't have it now, I didn't know where to go with it, so I was very concerned.
I know the biggest one when I was out there was the high school. The one going on for, if we go to this, I think there needs to be some communication that if we go and decide, hey, false alarm, after the third time, it's going to cost you.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
We will put a campaign out, a letter to the community that basically says that if we are sending our officers 4 or 5 times to your house, you're gonna get charged, right? For false alarm. If you're going to the school 12 times in a 24-hour period, you're gonna get charged. That's and everybody does that across the country, right? They ain't just wait there. They do it in Charlotte, Monroe, everywhere. Because it's resources. We can't have our officers going on false alarms every 25 minutes.
You'll see there's a blank line. Sorry about that. I must have bumped it and erased it under false alarms. So it must be false alarms 3 through 5, I'm assuming, is $25 or $50. So there is an opportunity for more increased revenue with those fees, the possibility of the collection rate being a wee bit higher. So I feel like Wiley and I were as conservative as possible with revenue, which is what we want. And, you know, they say underestimate revenue and overestimate expenses. I didn't overestimate expenses.
That's what we are.
I couldn't, otherwise, you know, I'm hoping I'm accurate, and not way too short. But, the new purchasing policies that we've enacted has saved a lot of money. We're about to, enact, on FMS an encumbrance policy. Purchase orders will be used, and that is going to be huge in monitoring, the budget and, expenses. So, I'm hoping for even more improvement.
So that insurance thing goes.
Oh, wait a minute, I didn't do water sewer, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you something before you go there. Those three options that you gave us, I think it was three, we're gonna have to act on one of those in order to.
On the water sewer increase?
I was asking about the insurance.
Oh, I'm sorry, insurance. No, we've already, you mean the medical insurance?
Yeah.
No, sir, we've already chosen a plan.
Yeah, so we vetted, so the state of North Carolina is no longer providing insurance for, towns and cities. So with that said, they gave us a time frame that we need to make sure that we have insurance for our employees. And that is, by July 1st. So we started to vet, insurance carriers, and we came up with this as the cheapest and most affordable way for us to have a good product for our employees and also save money for, our taxes.
I understand what you were asking.
Right.
I was talking about the possibility of making more cuts. If that is something, any area there, like I mentioned, increasing, the employee's part or the retiree's part to pay a small premium, please let me know, and I will adjust the budget accordingly, and we will let the retirees know. If possible, I do need, at least before the next meeting, a decision on whether or not we're gonna increase the
Increase for what?
the water fees. So the water sewer budget, is pretty much the same for the revenue. I did project an increase in investment income. I don't know why, but in past years, water sewer wasn't getting the investment income, and I've changed that, so now they are getting what they have invested, the interest for what they have invested, and of course, right now, interest rates are a little higher. As far as expenditures goes, the changes include the 3% raise for employees, the decrease in health insurance. $200,000 was put in the budget for the lead testing. That's something that wasn't done last year. And the increase of $181,000 for the general fund allocation. And then potentially a 12% increase because of the county. We did also, just to end on this, we did also look at our liability insurance, and we've made some changes in that. We got rid of some stuff that had should have been off the list, and we had been paying insurance for that we shouldn't have been paying insurance for. And also we've changed some deductibles. Well, we've asked the league their recommendation, but told them we'd like to change the deductible. So we're hoping to see a decrease in our liability insurance also. I emailed them this morning for an update, and I have not heard back. But as soon as I do, I will make whatever changes are necessary. I'm sorry this took so long, but there was a lot to cover. I want the citizens and the council to have a full understanding of what I and Wiley have presented them.
So we're gonna vote on this in June, correct?
Yes, sir, next meeting.
Will there be an opportunity, in between now and voting for, to get us a little feedback from the community in regards to, because this is public information,
Yes.
obviously. They've had an opportunity to, hear and see what our finances look like, in the town. Give them an opportunity to, give, the council some feedback, their feelings on which way we should go on some of these issues.
So there's a couple of things we could do. We could set up a special meeting for the citizens to air their opinions on this. Or we could, have the citizens speak in June, which, prior to the vote, and then if you wanted, you could move up the vote to the next day, and we could add a meeting, or I might be misspeaking. Debbie's speaking to Wiley right now.
You said the employees were getting a 3% raise.
Yes, sir?
When's the last time they had a raise?
Last time they had a raise, I believe it was 2 years ago, they got 4%, is that correct?
Yeah. They can get one this past year.
Right,
So it's been 2 years
yes,
since that
sir.
raise.
Yes, sir.
We have not,
You
increased
mentioned
the
public
taxes.
hearing. I like the recommendation of setting up a special day because in the past many years, it's always been right in June when the budget's presented and then they vote on it. So if the public really gives you a lot of information that you want to reconsider, it, it usually gets passed that same night. So I mean, you
Yeah,
got.
So did I misspeak?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
apologize.
I'm very transparent. I like for, citizens to have an opportunity to have their voices heard.
The citizen can come
Things taken
June
into
2nd.
consideration.
Yeah, the citizen can, sorry to interrupt you. Citizen can come June 2nd for a public hearing. That's when the public input can take place, is June 2nd. That's correct. And then we can take that information, right, and then we can have a special meeting later in June to pass the budget.
Okay.
I like that idea better. I don't wanna vote till after I hear from you the people. We the people.
And the reason I asked that question, we haven't raised taxes in 25 years.
Correct.
They haven't had a raise in 2 years. And people come to me complaining about the streets and everything that's going on. The only way to do it, and we did not want to do that, we did it at least, that's the recommendation was anyway. I do own a daycare. When the water rates went up, my water went way up. And we do these things, the same thing's gonna happen. But the reality is, in order to get some of the things that you want done, think about it now, 25 years and no increase. So we don't want to do this, I promise you.
If I may say, at the budget retreat, when tax increases were proposed, I believe everybody's head was going this way.
Right.
Everybody, all of them were saying no. And then when we presented the situation as it was,
Now, that we just
tough decision.
recommended a 6 cents increase, right? Not no 6%.
On $100,000,
6
that will
cents.
be $60 annually.
Like $1.15 a month per citizen.
And the fact of the matter is, the majority of the houses in Wadesboro are not worth $100,000. Right?
Can I ask you one more question?
With a lot lower.
Yes, sir.
And this may be something for the commissioners. All those trucks are bringing trash from different counties. I would love to put some of that charge on me.
Yeah,
Now,
Hill Cove, yeah.
if you're gonna bring your garbage from South Carolina, Monroe, or Wells, and I may be out of line, I'm not sure.
That's county.
That's county.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, charge those, right, we're gonna charge those folks who we provide water services for, trash collection, because they don't have it. So we're trying to just increase revenue.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna be free. Is that it? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mason.
All right.
Down here, the new business. Under new business, discuss and consider approval of professional service contract with Chambers Engineer PA for Uptown streetscape.
I think you got the wrong, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong, agenda.
I got it. Discuss and consider approval of North Carolina Commerce Grant for downtown revitalization.
Yeah, Mayor, members of council, I need approval to apply for a grant for $850,000 to revitalize the Uptown area. It's gonna be streetscape, lighting, sidewalks, and it's gonna, this is the first part of it. If I get approval, then we have to go through and then solicit for architects to give us drawings and schematics, and this is all part of the grant process. So it's for the Uptown area.
So moved.
Second.
If we got, hey, if they need any historic information on any of the buildings, I got a whole file here packed with it. I'll be glad to.
So it's not.
Make a copy.
Yes, sir. So it's not the buildings, not the facade, it's just the sidewalks and the lighting, and there's a map that we have to follow in terms of where we have to go. All right, which actually be up to the council, which streets, but typically what you wanna do is focus on your main street, which would be Wade Street in this instance, and go up to Wade and then alternate streets as well. But it's sidewalks, it's streetscape, it's, it's lighting, just to make the Uptown, look really nice.
Well, the historic district is because of the historical society's buildings, that's what makes downtown an entirely historical district. So if we needed any more argument as to why we need to do this.
So the application process, we have to have it in by August 21st, somewhere around there. So this is the beginning of that, where we will start this process in terms of, after this, we put an RFP out for the architects to do the drawings, and then we will go from there. We will rely on Central Liner to be our grant administrator and to facilitate this grant.
Of course, will that interrupt the bricks that we have up there with our family number names on?
Absolutely not. No, ma'am, no.
Thank you.
Hopefully sell some more.
Discuss and consider approval for sale and surplus property resolution.
Mayor and members of council, this is selling all of our surplus property in our town fleet and other departments. We have some very old items that need to be sold, and we put them on gov deals.
So moved.
Second.
I'm in favor. Gov.
Gov deals.
Discuss and consider approval of the audit recommend fund transfer.
So, if you wanna actually just put C through D, read D and E as well, and then I'll read.
Discuss and consider approval of proposed budget amendments, additional budget amendments, and project budgets.
All right. In reference to discuss, consider approval of audit recommendation and transfer. Request permission for audit recommendation fund transfers. Transfer from Uptown Waysboro Water and Lennox Drive Sewer Project Fund of $16,030.83 to the Water and Sewer Fund. This has been no financial activity in this project since 2014. And the remaining funds may be reallocated to meet other water and sewer needs. And then secondly, transfer from the radio upgrade capital project fund of $106.88 to general fund. These funds are no longer needed for the original project purpose that project is over with. And then transfer from the Waysboro Park Capital Project Fund, $16,993.66, to the general fund, Parks and Recreation. These funds will support ongoing maintenance and beautification efforts within the town's park system. So the $16,000 was in a fund, as well as the other $16,993 in another fund since 2014.
2014.
Laying dormant, right? When you talk about accountability, right?
How many town councils has that gone through?
Several. 2014, right? A lot. Right. So
Lack of fiscal responsibility.
absolutely. So what we're doing, we're closing that fund. We're closing these projects out, right? Because it's necessary.
Just sitting there.
Absolutely.
Been sitting there though.
Yeah.
Need a motion, Brother.
Right. And so then, secondly, we're gonna talk about,
Wiley?
yes,
I'm sorry. We need them to vote approval on.
on each one.
first.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So this is gonna be on C.
Second.
All in favor? D.
D is the discuss and consider approval of a proposed budget amendments. General fund adjustment, additional budget amendments and project budgets. General fund adjustments, net decrease of $364,712. Increases of the property tax revenue of $101,688 due to improved collection efforts. Investment income of $56,500 due to higher interest rates and inclusion of CD interest. Reallocate $400,000 for the stormwater project to a newly established special project fund to appropriate financial reporting and tracking. Stormwater grant project budget, establish a special project budget in the amount of $400,000 for the sewer water grant. Fire department summer camp project budget, establish a special project budget of $6,000. Funding will come from the community donations and general fund transfer. And any unspent funds will carry forward to subsequent fiscal years with future budget amendments as needed. So basically what we're doing, renaming some of these projects to go in special budget projects, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So we need to vote on that.
All said, council.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
He's already, so you vote on all of them.
All right.
Yes, so vote on each.
So, need a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
So, and also too, a lot of this was from the recommendations in reference to our audit, that what we had was so many issues, from a lot of these projects just laying dormant, and we were just getting dinged every year, right? So hopefully, this year's audit will be a lot better, and we'll be, we're being more fiscally responsible in addressing these issues, right? I'm not here to place blame, but when we got here, folks, this was really bad, right? Again, council has a tough job. You do before you to pass this budget. It is absolutely a challenge. If we don't do some of these things, it's going to be worse. It's going to be bad. Because what has happened is previous councils have made some decisions that brought us here to today, right? So now here we are, right? Can no longer kick it down the road. Gotta stop kicking. That's all. Just fact.
Fire chief. Good job.
Mayor, council, thank you all for allowing me to come and speak tonight. I want to give you an update on the summer camp. So far, we've got 23 signed up for summer camp and expecting some more from some of our daycare centers. They said it would be later in the week before we got those, so right now we're sitting at 23.
What's the capacity, Scott? 30.
Ms. Cox and Nolan can attest to it. When you get 30 kids in the firehouse, it's chaos. So 30 is a sound number that we can all control.
What's the age?
9 to 12.
The date again
It
is
is June the 9th through the 13th. Yes, sir.
Hours.
From 9 a.m. until 12.
9 a.m. to 12. 3 hours.
Yes, sir.
That will be volunteer.
Again.
Yep.
So far, you guys talked about the fund balance there, the general fund making an adjustment there for summer camp. So far, we've raised $3,750 for the summer camp, so we're not shy from our goal. So we have put forth some effort there. So just want to let you guys know about it. Saturday, June the 7th, It's Smoke Alarm Saturday. We participated in it for the last 10 or 12 years. Here at the fire department, we'll be going through several areas in our community to install smoke alarms. And just to get on the importance of that, April the 21st, we had a residential structure fire over on Sykes Avenue, and it come from working smoke alarms. That's what warned the neighbors. The resident wasn't home. In the event that that did happen and there was no smoke alarms in those apartments, could be catastrophic for 4 family members, as well as 4 separate families. So a total of 16 occupants could have been displaced. So that's the importance of working smoke alarms. That's why we push so hard to have them in our community, make sure that all our residents have them. This is an initiative that was started many, many years before I became fire chief. So that's why we do this. So if you guys have any questions or anything, I'll take it.
What day you said?
June the 7th.
That's the fire alarm.
June the 7th.
June the 7th, the smoke alarm Saturday.
You already got your, streets picked?
Yes, sir. We're gonna try to finish, I haven't nailed down a time yet. We're still waiting on one of our community partners, Red Cross, to get back with us to let us know what time works out. So we're gonna try to finish working on Salisbury Street. So we're gonna target, Ballard Lodge, North Main, the upper end of North Main. We didn't finish it last year. And we're gonna take Salisbury Street all the way down to the railroad tracks, to where the train bridge there, or the train trestle is. We'll stop there, we'll hit East School Street and Old Charlotte. If we've got alarms present, that's the big thing. We're only allotted so many alarms, and we have to pick a target area when we supply or submit the grant. So that's the area that we did, because we've got it before, to try and target those areas.
Beautiful.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Mason, do you have anything? Excuse me, Mr. James.
Mayor, council, couple things, splash pad. Nothing happened about a week ago, we got elected this week, we're pushing hard over there. Get concrete ready forward and working on the wire building and everything, and the internal, so I hopefully, maybe by the end of the weekend. Structurally, they may be finished with that one.
And what's the hard date that we gave them?
Sir?
What's the hard date we gave
I
them?
think it was 13, what they told us, May.
And really, you know, this has been going way too long. This has been going since 2023. It's unacceptable. Taxpayer dollars at work here. And so I got involved like 2 months ago, and we're trying to push this along to get this going.
We need a ribbon cut for that project.
And, oh, we will, absolutely.
For our children before the summer's out.
We will.
But it's coming along, Florida town, we've done all of what we could do. I talked to the contractor today, and they're gonna put it on the side, and all that.
Get up the bill.
Fall right into place. We've got guardrail was installed last week on Maple Lane, but that happened. I had been in contact with the company for a couple of months, and they called me the day before, so they come next day. That surprised me. Several projects on the books that hadn't started yet, Fire Street, pump station, replacement, several others, but, y'all won't see my smiling face no more,
Well, we're gonna keep him around because he's gonna help me with the zoning, so he's not going far.
We contracted you.
Again,
Yes.
thank you for the job done and all you did for the
I
town.
appreciate town,
Good man.
I appreciate the opportunity of working for the town for 7 years. It's September 7th is when I started in town, and worked for the county a long time before that, but, time to do something.
You sure you wanna leave?
He's not. Look at him.
I don't know.
We'll see you in a month or two.
Exactly.
We'll see you in a month or two.
Okay.
She got hurt.
That's all I have,
Appreciate it. Thank you. Ms. Mason, do you have, Marie, you got something a little more in depth in this one?
I'm tired of talking, so this is gonna be.
Okay, good.
Okay, so, just like I do every month, just give you a synopsis of the reports that I gave you for the month of March. So, as far as revenue goes, we've collected 66.4% of our revenue, compared to 70% last year. Now, there's a drop this year, because if you recall, last year, in March, we transferred $1.5 million from the ARPA funds to general fund to cover for the police salaries. So that's why there was an increase. We've expended 69.7%. I'm sorry, I lost my mind here. Compared to 64.8% at the same time last year, so our expenses are a little higher. Oh, but that's because of the I'm sorry. Despite this improvement, expenditures still currently exceed revenue by $214,500. I just thought that, part of that $214,500, maybe I can give you an update next month, could have been for one-time purchases, which would make me feel better that, we weren't using that much to balance the budget. The deficit last year would have been $1 million had we not transferred that ARPA money. Water sewer, 77.8% of budgeted revenue has been collected, while expenditures are only 53%, 56%. Revenue is exceeding expenditures by $734,000. Cash and investments. We have $8.4 million between all of our savings, checking, and CDs. That's an increase of $844,000 from last year. And I see that figure rising because actually North Carolina Cash Management came in last week and went over our accounts with us, and they're anticipating, at least for the next few months, that the interest rates will be higher, depending on everything. So I also attached a little summary for you on the tax collections, and as you can see right now, based on the last tax roll that I received, we're at 95.6% collection rate.
Good deal.
So the county has made vast improvement. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mason.
All right, I'll give the police department report. Let's start off. Okay. So we had 1,372 calls for service for the month. 70 false alarms, 12 animal controls, 141 business checks, 346 residential checks, 150 traffic stops, 5 stolen vehicles, 14 shots fired runs we responded to, 23 suspicious persons we responded to, 31 mental illness runs we responded to, 13 IDCs. What does IDC mean?
Involuntary commitment.
Gotcha. All right, and 13 domestics, 31 crashes, 34 arrests, and 21 citations.
How many mental ill?
It was 31.
The 14 shots fired, can you got any additional information?
I do wanna speak in reference to something real quick. So, folks, we have a issue in this county as it relates to law enforcement, right? And Mr. Usher, you worked for both, right? You worked for the town and now you work for the sheriff's office, right? Our guys, right, after this last incident, the dog, have been receiving death threats. They have not, they've been going on radio runs and the sheriff's office will come, they won't back them up. It's unacceptable. You should not be a police officer in this county if you cannot back up your fellow officer. It's not right.
Well, I think you need to take that up with the sheriff.
Oh, I am. I am.
You need to do that rather than.
No, because
The public need.
their life,
The public
their life is in jeopardy, sir.
That's right.
So the fact of the matter is, you may not like me or the town council, but the bottom line is, these folks are protecting us, protecting this community, and it's just not right. Someone wants to speak, go ahead, you want to speak? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And they're doing a great job.
They're doing a wonderful job.
Y'all give them a hand, they're doing a great job.
I've never joined this law enforcement for recognition or anything. I felt it was a calling. But, you know, as you spoke, sir, I believe officers all feel the same way, and I'm just gonna read off my statement. We don't feel safe. The morale is at an all-time low. We are operating in a severely understaffed environment, which puts additional strain on every shift and leaves little room for rest, backup, or proactive policing. The lack of community support further compounds this stress. Many of us feel like we're working in neighborhoods where we're not trusted or respected. No matter how much effort we do in trying to build relationships to do the right thing. I mean, we have officers who are going out giving candy. We're doing the best that we can. We feel like sometimes we've got to tiptoe around crime just to, you know, prioritize public perception over clear enforcement. Professionalism and respect are essential.
That's right.
I'm never going to disrespect somebody or violate somebody's or their rights, but it has created a culture of hesitation and uncertainty among us law enforcement. Officers are afraid to make necessary decisions because the risk of being scrutinized, punished, or publicly vilified is always looming. Especially with the recent events with our beloved canine. As you have stated, we have received threats. I arrested a guy the other night, and I was constantly scrutinized and threatened over our canine, which we are still recovering from. At the same time, we're being openly threatened, taunted, and disrespected by individuals who face little to no consequences for their actions. This environment not only compromises officer safety, which is number one, it also weakens our ability to protect the public effectively. We need support from leadership. We need policies that don't leave us feeling abandoned and vulnerable. And if these conditions persist, they will continue to drive good officers, and there are good officers here, away from the profession, leaving this community and other communities less protected and public safety increasingly at risk. We need real change. We need measurable, immediate, and support from the top down. And I can't speak to the sheriff's office. I used to work for a sheriff's office. All I know is that if I see another officer struggling, I'm backing you up. I've got your six. Because officer safety is number one. Thank you.
It sounds like a leadership problem. I didn't hear anything about the sheriff people not backing that gentleman up. You better have some specific information when you address it with the sheriff.
Absolutely, and I sure will, because I was told that.
Well, you were told.
We
was told the police department was fully staffed a couple months ago.
And the sheriff just stands there, or they're fighting with people. That's unacceptable.
Well,
that's unacceptable.
Unless you were there, I don't know if I would depend on that.
I was present at it the other night. The sheriff's office was told to come over and to help us.
There you go.
You take them with you to talk to the sheriff.
I sure will.
We were called to an IBC patient at the Anson Inn. His mother was at the manager's office getting IBC paperwork done for him. We called the sheriff's office to come and help us because she informed us that he is combative. Therefore, we get there. It took us a very long time, three of us, two men and me, to get handcuffs on this man and get his hands unclasped while the sheriff's office stood there and did nothing. We had one officer say, "Are you going to help?" They said nothing. They stood there. They showed up at the hospital, stood there, and then went back to
Well,
last night.
I understand they are employed by the sheriff and they have to do just like we do. But as Officer T just said, if I see another officer needing assistance,
That's right.
then you'll have to fire me because I'm going to help.
Absolutely. And I expect you to. Absolutely, yes, ma'am. Thank
Well, I
you.
agree, the integrity of the police department is rock bottom. The confidence that the citizens have in them is at rock bottom.
Sir,
That's what I hear from a lot of these citizens.
And I appreciate your comments, but I can tell you, since this current administration is here, last month, we got 234 grams of fentanyl off the street, right? We confiscated 15 guns, right? We made 2 arrests for homicide, sir. So when you talk about the police department, have your facts in order. What you should be doing.
Last night, and I'm not speaking negatively, again, I used to work for the sheriff's office. Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm not speaking negatively in the sheriff's office.
Yes, sir.
I know they have orders to follow, okay? But last night, for the town of Wadesboro it has a high crime rate. It's just the facts, right? Me and that officer back there with the hat on were the only officers here for 12 hours. That's 2 of us. So if there is a shooting, or if there is shots fired, I'm called up on one call and he's called up on another call. Well, where's my backup? It's just, I'm only one dude.
And these small communities, that's what this policing is. That's what policing is,
That's
right?
right.
This ain't Charlotte, this ain't Cincinnati. You don't have 40, 50 people in a roll call. You have 4 or 2 or 3.
So I used to be a deputy. Those times I didn't have backup for a few minutes, but I had backup.
That's right.
Right? And I'm not like, I don't know what's going on with administration or whatever, but we're officers. Like, this is a brotherhood, man. Like,
That's right.
come on.
That's right.
Yeah, where's the thin blue line?
Sounds like a leadership problem.
If they don't have the 2 officers on, that's a scheduling problem that you need to address with your chief.
Sir, we have to identify, we have to put in account for off days and everything else, obviously, right? But what he's talking about is when he gets a radio run, he's expecting his brothers in the county to help him. It is not happening. So yeah, I get it. That's your employer. I get that. What I'm trying to tell you is this: it has to stop.
The lady got on public TV said that they would not help her that night.
Absolutely.
At the same time, they constantly wanting the town of Wadesboro, where you pay your taxes to fund dispatchers, 2 additional ones. Every time you turn around, they ask for more entities from the town of Wadesboro, but they ain't providing no service. Same thing with the K-9 situation, the animal control.
And we are working with the county.
You know, where the outrage on that? I don't like selective outrage.
Yeah. So me and the county manager have a great relationship. Contrary to people's belief, we do. We talk all the time. We are locked step and barrel. But the bottom line is, we have to get collaboration from everybody, and that means the sheriff. Sir, I just got here. If you don't like me because I came in town, I'm sorry. But guess what? And the same thing with town council. You don't like us, you don't like us. But guess what? I am not going to put them in jeopardy. I'm not going to do it.
And another comment that you made, former chief, you said that the interim chief needs to live in Wadesboro. Mr. Chewin lived in Peachland or Polk, excuse me.
Exactly.
Lived in Peachland or Polk
That's
somewhere.
right.
I didn't see you make one statement.
Nothing.
Selective outrage.
Guys.
Mr. Mayor,
But my man, Mr. Moore moved here to
Or the
Wadesboro.
town manager allowed that, so be it.
David Edwards was the town manager at the time. Mr. Irk,
He was what?
never mind. Selective outrage is what I'm speaking of. That's
We
all.
will address the sheriff and we will talk to the county. All I'm asking is that we all work together to make this community safe. And that means that the small town agencies always rely on the sheriff because they are the bigger agency. You know that, and that's the way it
Take
is.
into consideration, sheriff might have 2 people working, one in Burnsville, one in Lysville. So they have the same problem as what you might have at some time.
Sir, I understand that. All I'm saying is that when we need help, everybody should come and help.
Can somebody speak?
We need to finish.
You let him speak.
You
said
said
he was
he
supposed to speak. That's right. He said. He's supposed.
You let him
He's
speak.
speaking plenty. Go ahead, Ms. Vaccine.
This is into the police. I know every one of them. And I apologize for what the gentleman said, especially that part about, okay, thank you, baby. calling the chief, police out of there, lapdog and all that thing.
That is true.
This is what, God, we got to come together. We got to come together. Whenever we say we out here doing for the county, we doing for the county. When I said what I said about how faith-based Center of Hope, help everybody, I meant everybody. We go in the white homes, the Hispanic homes, the black homes, anybody, cause that's what it's about. I said this and I said, cause I've always been this way. People know me. When I say something, I can show enough repeat it. The mess going on with the town council in Waysburg is because they don't want you. So they are holding against the police and everybody else. They don't want you on their snubs. They don't want you on there, honey. And I know what a great job you're doing. I know what a great job, y'all know. I know what a great job, Mr. Wiley, you're doing. But they don't want you on there. I know what a great attorney you got. I've always said about Aaron, do we have our differences? Don't we have a boo? Not many. And I love it. And I stand up for him, any of you, when you're doing right. But it's wrong for us to let this stuff bicker. When we got citizens, you said that about the mentally ill.
31 calls. Leaders aligning themselves with outside agitators, don't even live
Don't
here.
even-
Come out here and talk about us.
Come on now. I know what the officers do.
So-called leaders.
I know what they do. Now they scared to go in the neighborhood cause of a dog.
Yes.
Let that dog come in my yard, I'll shoot him out. For real, for real. I gotta conceal weapons thing, so don't call the law, okay? But when we learn to come together.
I'm sorry,
Come on, baby.
I think we've gotten a little off topic. I think what the officers are trying to relay is that we've always worked together with the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office has worked together with us. I know that most of the town council who was here, with the exception of Mr. Ross, remembers July 9th, 2023, the mass shooting. So I can tell you personally, I was a patrol sergeant, and we have been so short-staffed from before I got here to now. We were ready. It was me as the patrol sergeant and one other officer. And we saw that party, and it was out of hand, but there was nothing that we could do because it was too many people. 2 officers, and then we had 3 deputies, and we came together. There was only 5 of us. We can't break that party up. We knew there were weapons. We knew there were guns. We had a plan. The plan, right before it was time to enact it, I know you guys remember, shots came out. Multiple calls on the radio. Shots fired, shots fired, shots fired. Multiple people hit, multiple people hit. I, as the sergeant, the only sergeant, the person in charge of the entire city, had to make a decision. County heard me. They called county like they normally do. County car cities on the way to this. I got on my radio. I didn't even know if I had I didn't know if I could do this. I got on my radio and screamed, hey, I need anybody within a 10 to 20 mile radius with a badge and a gun to come help me. Marshville came, Chesterfield came, Rockingham came, Wingate came, Union came, Monroe came, everybody came. I think the question is are they still gonna come for us? Because at this point, nobody wants to have anything to do with the Waysboro Police Department, and we are working very hard to serve this community. But it's not gonna last long if we're not getting our help. We've got to take control of this police department because we're gonna continue to lose officers. And that's just it. They're scared, and I don't blame them. I have kids I wanna go home to.
That's right.
I spend most of my year here in Waysboro trying to help other people. We're putting our lives on the line. We're stopping our families. We're missing things to help this community. We're here because we want to be here.
That's right.
But who wants to be here if you're at risk of getting killed? Not me.
I thank you guys for coming out and speaking your mind. I appreciate it. I done the job, right, for almost 30 years in an urban city. Way, way, way dangerous than this, right? And God kept me.
Come on.
So I'm praying for you guys. We're gonna give you support that we need, but I am gonna have to talk to the sheriff.
Amen.
And also the county. Amen. We will not lose anybody to this. I mean, again, we are doing the best job we can. We're here for a reason, because we want to serve the community. That's it. You don't have to like my skin color. You ain't gotta like their skin color. You ain't gotta like me for nothing. But just judge me on my merit, on the job that I'm doing.
Come on.
Right? When I came here, right, we had a deficit. We cut it down. Right? We're doing things to make life better for the citizens. That's what we're trying to do. That's the only reason I'm here. Right? So we will continue to work with the county. And again, this is what small cities, small counties, small towns do. We have to. We have to allow each other. Because we're not big enough. We have to. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to continue to work and to bridge that gap. And I'm also going to the county commission meeting tomorrow too. And say the same thing. I am. I'll be there tomorrow night.
I'll be there.
Yes, ma'am.